Got him on the rat. That's a big one, dude. Get the net, Rich, get the net. Get the net, dude, it's a giant. Hey everyone, what's happening? We're gonna get into that bite a little bit later in the video, but I'd like to welcome you to my lair and welcome you to another fun-filled episode of Big Fish Synergy. This trip was too good not to document. I know it's been a while, life kind of got in the way, but I appreciate you sticking with me. This is my first time fishing in South Carolina. It's down in Bluffton, Palmetto Bluff to be exact, a beautiful sprawling landscape of ornate houses and elaborate waterways. I went with my cousin Rich, who's my partner in crime in this video. We drove down with his mom, my cousin Gail, made the epic 12-hour trip, which was absolutely phenomenal, and it was packed full of all this fishing gear that you see behind me, packed to the brim. So I wish I had packed more conventional gear. I went gung-ho with a bunch of swim bait gear, and I thought I was just gonna hammer these fish, and that was just not the case. It was an extremely pressured waterway, and these fish were just not having the big baits at all. So I wish I had known that before I packed the car full of all these giant 8-foot monster behemoth sticks with big heavy reels and these giant baits. They proved to be productive in the end, and we'll again get into that. But let's get into this video, let's roll the intro, and then we'll talk more in depth about the techniques that yielded results in this really, really tough fishery. Roll it. Okay, yeah, so again, welcome, and as I said in the intro, I came out swinging for the fences. This is just one of like 3 or 4 boxes, but I was just throwing crazy baits, and I was throwing, big walking topwaters, crawlers, wake baits, swimmers, like a 10-inch triple trout. I was throwing this, I thought this was really going to pay off. I think maybe if I worked it hard on the third day it would have, but I was throwing a 6-inch citizen and skipping it far under tree branches and letting it sink, and then, reeling it slowly back to the boat. That was just not getting bit. And Rich was throwing a jig, and he actually got a couple of jig bites early on, but didn't manage to convert. He got one up real close to the boat. It looked like probably 2.5 to 3 pounds. Good solid fish, but I don't know, it just didn't get a good hook in them, and they got off, and it was just very slow action to begin with. Then we got a look at some of this bait, and it looked to be like bluegill fry or shad fry. The water visibility was just non-existent. There was like some type of crazy algae bloom going on the entire way. And we were just like, man, what are we going to throw in here? I wish I could have gotten, just a better look at what was down there. I mean, we were going over points and places that we thought would hold fish, and they just didn't. I figured like maybe, I did bring a couple of conventional sticks. I was throwing like a chatterbait early. They didn't want that vibration. It was just such a weird fishery. But then we rolled down this one shade line, and it was funny. We just had to basically look into the sky and see what side the sun wasn't touching because it's so hot there. I mean, this was like the end of April, and it was already like 91 degrees on the water. So we saw this one shade line with all these tree overhangs, and Rich started throwing the DT6, and that's when everything turned around. And let me just talk about his setup. He was throwing this DT6, which was like a chartreuse brown color, which makes total sense because the water was so murky with this algae bloom. It was like pea soup green, I would say. And he was throwing it on like a medium Abu Garcia spinning rod from 1992, I would say. Lucky that all the guides were still intact, but it was actually an amazing stick. It had a perfect, beautiful tip section, soft, great spinning rod for throwing a crankbait like the DT6, and he was throwing it on a pink Shakespeare spinning reel, maybe like a 3,000 size. It might have even been a 4,000 size. It was ridiculous, but it had a really nice drag, believe it or not, and a really, I'd say a low gear ratio. I would say probably anywhere from 5 to 6. I don't remember exactly what it was, but that played into Rich's advantage because these fish were really on a more consistent kind of slow bite. It wasn't a quick reaction bite, like knock them dead, get a wild bite out of the gate. It was not like that. You had to work for every bite, and really they were following underneath on almost every cast, and obviously we couldn't get a good visual on that. I didn't figure that out till the third day when the water cleared a little bit. But I'll just tell you one thing. If I was throwing that, it would have been on this St. Croix Legend glass. This is a medium heavy, and this is a 7.4. And it's an absolutely phenomenal stick. I mean, with the glass, you have that soft, real soft tip section. And I have it paired with this Metanium 20, just an absolutely phenomenal reel with 50-pound Max Quattro, which is also what I spooled Rich's reel with the night before, tied to a 16-pound FC100 system shock leader. I think I went up to 20 for him, but I've been running that FC100 system shock leader for the last 2 or 3 years. It's out of stock now, or out of production, I should say. You could probably still find it in stock for considerably cheaper than a lot of what a lot of high-end fluoro shock leaders go for, and it's really phenomenal. I switched over to Saltimate, but let's take a look at what he did on some of these catches, and then we'll get into it. Awesome.
There's actually a point right here.
That's what I'm saying. That point. See that point?
Yeah, it's like 8 feet to 6 feet.
I gotta get one under here.
Yeah, straight at where the boat is pointing right now goes to 9 feet straight ahead. There might be a fish there too. There might be a monster fish.
Oh my God!
Straight.
Oh!
Oh my God, I thought that was a monster.
I had to get it out of there. Did you see him try to eat it?
The bird?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the fact that a bird is trying to eat a frog and not a bass is just sickening to me, dude.
Yeah, it certainly looks okay, huh?
I don't think it's my presentation, man. I just think it's the whatever mood they're in, or... That was beautiful. What are you throwing there?
That's
the crank?
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect, dude. Yeah, maybe we're throwing the crankbait and just getting real erratic. That's what it is. Just get a reaction bite.
You know what, too? The whole cast, you have a chance. You can get a reaction bite. That fish? Oh, that's a fish.
The frog literally walked off of its bat.
That's a perfect catch.
Yeah, you're killing it.
Oh, got one.
Crankbait's the way to go. Get the net.
Yeah,
giant. That's a giant.
Yeah, buddy.
Keep it down. Keep it down. Keep the head down.
Oh! Yeah, buddy.
Just don't wait. He's gonna jump. Oh, that's a giant. That's a giant.
Just came out too.
It's a giant. It's a giant. It's a giant. It's a giant. Dude, that's a 6. Eat all day long. Okay, don't. I'll get this.
Okay.
You get my scale off of my net. I'm gonna let this guy just hang out for a second. Okay, so we just found the pattern.
I'm redeemed.
That was beautiful.
I am redeemed. Oh my God! Dude, that was right under that point. Here, is this it? Here, give me the net and you do this.
Is that 0?
Don't let him
He's
go.
not going anywhere, dude.
Yes, it's 0.02, 0.04, 0.02. I got this. Here.
$4.89, right under 5. Here, take this, and I'm gonna take a video and a picture of you holding this. Grab him hard, because he's really aggressive, dude.
Got him.
Let me get my camera. What happened there? Tell me exactly what happened.
Threw a crankbait right to the shade line. Nailed it right, reaction bite.
All right, we're gonna get a release. Awesome. He's gonna take off in 2 seconds. They're crazy looking down here, huh?
All right, so what did we learn from that?
Okay, let's just before we move anywhere.
What does this mean?
Can I just make one adjustment?
Yeah. Okay. So that was 5, just under 5.
4.89.
It looked a little bigger, to be honest with you, until we pulled it out.
No, dude, that had the body of a 6 or a 7.
Yeah,
it just has no weight to it, dude. Did you see it?
They don't have weight here. They really don't.
That means there's not a great food source. I hate to say that. They're on smaller bait here, man. They're on smaller bait.
They don't have good bait.
I almost just broke my. Oh, I did. Very good.
You broke it?
Stepped right on it. That's shot.
Seriously?
I gotta fix that at home. And
We got a lot of on this boat.
I'm just not thinking.
We just caught a 5-pounder. That's what you're thinking. Dude, I took my sandals off.
That was the key. So as Rich was throwing that DT6 under the trees, I was throwing a frog, and we'll get into this a little later in the video. But I just want to tell you how important it is to keep your head in the game. Don't get too excited. I know it's so hard to follow that sometimes. But as you can see, I stepped on this thing running over to God knows what, to try to get some new tactic that I was, baking up in my brain. And I stepped right on the guide and broke this one off. I already got it repaired. Thank God I bought another rig that could handle the same type of class of baits where I could throw a frog or a swim jig, because if I hadn't, I would have been SOL. And guys, that was totally my fault. The boat was cluttered, trying to find a pattern on the first day. It's not working. I'm going all over the place. And I just, carrying this big thing of baits around, not looking down. And I stepped right on the rod that I leave on the ground because I picked up a net to try to, help land Rich's fish, which thank God we did. But again, just organization is everything in a tight quartered boat like that, and we were not getting it done, and that was totally my bad. I ended up fishing with this, but this rod turned into be this setup turned into be somewhat of a gremlin, as we'll find out. All right, let's keep moving. Okay, as you can see, Rich was having a lot of success with pitching and, just casting that DT6 all the way back under the shade line and letting a square bill do what it does best. Deflect, directional changes off of structure, and these fish were coming out and hunting and following and eating in open water after seeing the initial cast, which was really amazing to witness from the side. You know, I was trying to do the same thing. I was throwing a bigger style crankbait like this Big M. I was throwing the 2.0 and the 4.0. I thought maybe the variance in the depth, how quickly it dives down, would get these things fired up. No, they just did not want this. So, you know, Rich cleaned up, got a lot of props for the DT6, a classic time-tested bait that always continues to produce. I wish I had brought a bunch more down there. We had one that we managed to preserve the entire time, which was a miracle in itself. But as we were moving down, I was throwing the KGB Shad, and this is one of the resin ones. Say it was produced in the last year or so. So I know he's gone through a couple slight revisions. And I'm throwing this actually on the KGB, the medium, oh, sorry, he calls it a heavy, but it's really like a medium heavy in my book. It's a 1 to 4 handles, 1 to 4 ounces. When I first got this rod, it took a lot of getting used to because it's got a really long handle butt section. But I have to say, I mean, if I could throw this bait on any single rod in existence, it would be this one. It really cushions the trebles perfectly. Got double foot guides all the way up. Strong, whippy, but with a lot of backbone, surprisingly, and it's super light and balanced. I think that handle has a lot to do with it. I mean, I don't love the handle in tight quarters sometimes, find it hitting into me, but when you're fighting a fish, it's just, man, you have total control. You're never pulling a treble away from a fish. I'm throwing that on a Calcutta Conquest DC 200, phenomenal reel, and of course, my Studio Composite 102 millimeter RC SC EX Plus. Phenomenal handle, phenomenal reel. And this is 65 pound Max Quattro, and I throw it to a, let's see, what do I have? Yes, 25 pound Maxima Ultra Green leader. As you can see, there's my FG knot right there. Don't leave home without it. And yes, I am a braid to leader guy. No, there's a lot of disdain for that in the swim bait world, but look, musky fishermen have been doing that forever. Big saltwater guys have been doing that forever. I personally love it. I have not had many failures. And the failures that I have had have been my fault completely. But I feel like this neutral buoyancy from braid and the responsiveness is unmatched. Again, it's just personal preference. One's not better than the other, but this works for me. So I went all the way up and I was getting all these follows, smaller fish. You know, fish were coming out, looking at it, going back in, darting down. I couldn't get a committal, but check out this footage because it's pretty cool. And it definitely exposes where fish are hiding. And it was that tree line the entire time. Check it.
Wow, that looks good.
It's sick, right? It's gonna get hit. It's gonna get freaking nailed, man. The crankbait in this can actually get destroyed.
Wow. That's nice and slow too.
It's super slow. And it just sits there, you know?
That's a South Carolina pattern.
You know what it's called?
The slip and slide.
The Shad. That's pretty, I mean, same idea, the Shad. Come on, baby. Oh, you see that bass come out? No. Right under it?
Really?
Little guy. But the more aggressive thing got him to come out. That was the first follow I had the whole day. The first sign of life. Oh! Do you see it?
Is that a monster?
No, little guy, but he came up and he ate it.
All right.
He came up and he ate it.
All right. That's all the confidence you need, right?
Okay, yeah, so as you can see, I exposed a couple fish. Got one to come out, but just didn't get hooks in him. Small guy, probably around 2 pounds or so. Would have been nice to get him though. I feel like when you get, you know, fish on swim baits, even if they're smaller, it gets your confidence rolling. And fishing, we all know, is so mental. So that can completely change your day in a heartbeat. One other thing I want to talk about, and maybe I'll touch on it one more time later in the video. But the retrieve with the Shad is really keeping the rod steady here and just doing chop, 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 like quarter turns. But you really want that thing to walk underwater back and forth. It is not a traditional glide bait. It's more of a reactionary bait, in my opinion. I'll do like a chop, 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 and then 2 hard ones. You can almost get the thing to turn around and do a 180 and look at the fish that's following it, and that's when it gets lit up. But I absolutely love that. I feel like that type of glide bait, if you're not going for the big, you know, California slalom style glide, to where you're just attracting the fish based off of sheer size and wonderment, I feel like that type of choppy, you know, really well balanced walk underwater, and that's the other thing with the KGB that makes it so special. The sink rate is so deathly slow that it will just basically suspend there. Anytime you import action, you get it to like restart, and it'll just start that really super, super, super slow sink. There's a few baits that do it. That one does it really well. I think the FOM Glide 6 does it pretty good, but it's got a faster sink rate, but it will also do that kind of walk underwater. Johan's 6-inch Shad does it too. I was fishing that down there. Didn't put a ton of time into it. But anyways, we kept moving further down and we got into frog territory. And we were just trying to explore as many new places as possible because I've never fished this place. And I saw this one area and I was like, man, this is going to pay off. Check out what happens. That's frog territory.
Oh,
you see that?
hit that?
Yeah. This bait's gonna do damage for me, I know it. And I think I'm gonna switch to the big gill too. At least we're figuring out more of a pattern, you know?
Rat?
Definitely.
Rat. Oh no, how am I ever going to be able to distinguish between the two?
Your dad loved Joey T.
He did. He was talking to him. That was his freshwater therapy.
That is absolutely insane what you just did there. If you catch a fish on that, I'm going home, dude. What is that from?
Major League.
Oh, of course it is.
Sucking me right in.
Oh.
Yes, bro.
How sick was that?
Yes. 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 Attaboy.
On the board.
Attaboy.
Now we can relax.
That was beautiful.
Dude, how sick was that?
That was beautiful.
You go rip it.
That was awesome.
I let him take it all the way down.
Dude, that was sick. That was perfect. And you knew it too, coming up next to that little patch that you had it.
That was sick. Finally got on the board in South Carolina with this, like, maybe it's a 3, 2.5. Rich and I had been going in these shallows I finally just walked a frog. This thing came up and absolutely annihilated it, took it down. I got a nice hook set. Gonna get a release right now. Awesome. Right back down. Yeah, so we got into that one area down there, and as soon as I saw those isolated clumps of grass, you know, coming out from that one area of thick vegetation, like that came out from the wall, I was like, we've got it. I got to throw a frog in here. So yeah, the game plan was throw it all the way back into that thick stuff and then walk it out really slowly into open water, but over those isolated clumps of grass. And then that's where it was getting lit up. And you really have to let these fish eat it, give them a couple seconds, and then rip it. I am of the opinion that you gotta, well, every situation is different, but in that scenario, you really gotta let these fish eat it. You can't set right away. You gotta let them take it, get it down, because when they can really see it, it's not like when they're coming out from really thick stuff. When they can really see it, they got it. And then they go down, and then you're just gonna get a better, deeper hook set. I mean, I give them, you could see on that first one, I gave them quite a bit. And I was throwing the actual, it wasn't this guy, it was the sun gill, but it was the JACKALL GAVACHO with this 3-tail system. And in any kind of new lake that I fish, I always start with the Gavacho because it does so many different things well. It walks really well. You can pop it if you want. It's got that cupped face to it. And it really does well in vegetation too. It's got these, check out the hooks. They're really, really well hidden. I mean, if you see this, look at those. Those points are, I mean, they're deadly. It's a thick wire hook. And it comes out and it really gets them. I mean, the one thing that I don't love about it is they're a little bit harder material. You got to really break these things in. So what I tend to do is fish one for like a couple of years. The one that I was catching the fish on, I've fished for 3 years. I just keep putting it back together with mended, but it's so soft that I get such amazing hook penetration. I'll talk about it. I'll show you guys because I put it on another setup, and there's a reason why. So, yeah, this is my normal frog setup is this Shimano Metanium DC15. But what I do is this comes with an aluminum gear set. I take that out. I put in a brass gear set, which I like better. It's not as, after time, in my opinion, aluminum feels a little bit geary. I think brass is more solid and is really good for cranking these frogfish out of super heavy vegetation. Absolutely phenomenal frog reel. I mean, you can bomb cast these things. Great precision, great power. The Metanium is super light, and you need that for that repetitive motion of walking all day long, or else you're going to get some horrible type of tendonitis, trust me. And this is an Expride A. This is an old school Expride, not one of the new ones. But I think they say it's the same. I've heard that the older ones are a little bit more stout. They both throw up to two ounces easily. I mean, you could use this rod for a variety of techniques. I was using it for a Swimjig as well. We'll get into that. I have an in-depth frog video. I'll leave the link up here. I put a studio composite handle on that, or on all my reels, but as you can see from the video, I ripped the reel handle right off.
And it looks like it stops right there too. Get him? Missed him?
I just pulled my reel handle right off.
Oh my God.
Am I cursed? Am I okay?
How are you?
Okay, well, it's one of those types of days. Rich.
Cuz, what are you doing? Do you have a fish on?
I'm gonna say no, and I think that went right in the drink too, the other part to the reel handle, of course.
Perfect.
Do you love this? I don't.
You loved it. That was on a frog?
Yep,
Wow. Was that a nice one?
no clue. I wish I could tell you.
Well, that pole's just meant to not be fished right now.
Am I losing it?
I don't think you're losing it. I think it's lost. Bro, apparently my mom says you act exactly like Jimmy. You're done.
This is so frustrating. I didn't know why this was happening. I felt the reel handle a little loose and I thought I could get through the day with it. Huge blunder. It was stupid because I ended up stripping the retainer nut, that black thing right there, right off, popped off. The problem is I was using too many washers. The Studio Composite kit comes with 3 washers. I think I was putting 2 in. Just use 1 washer and get more threads. When you have a drive shaft that's shorter like the Metanium, you need to get as many threads as possible because look at how thick this handle is. It's way different than the stock handle. So as you can see, I ripped it right off. And then at that point, I was just like, this is, I gotta retire this rig because it's cursed right now. It's catching fish, but it's cursed. Okay, so after that disaster, pulling a reel handle right off the reel, totally embarrassing, but good to document. And hopefully you guys can learn from that. We kept exploring the outer stretches of this waterway and got to a section with a bunch of docks. I was like, let me throw the good old, let me not get hooked on top of it, the wooden shell cracker. And get a little further back so you can see that. What can I say about that bait? It gets bit in every single waterway. It's a confidence wake bait. I always take it with me no matter where I'm fishing, and this was no exception. I ended up throwing it at every dock. I thought I was going to get nailed by a huge one. It didn't happen. I made one perfect cast that I thought was going to explode the bait. I'm like, oh, this is tight, but it landed. It was right next to the dock. As you can see, it's just a slow retrieve out and a couple pops and a big, or not a big one, a big bite from a very little and aggressive male. I thought it was a better fish when it first hit. Turned out to be just a little guy, but fun nonetheless. Now I'm fishing that on my favorite setup for wakes that size of all time, and that is a Lowdown Custom. This is a custom Lowdown Custom, so it's not one of the workshop ones. This is medium heavy mod fast. I have it paired with a Daiwa Z 2020 SH. It's one of the black ones. It's got the 7.1 1 gear ratio, 102 millimeter Studio Composite handle. No mistake on this one. I went back through every single one of my reels and made sure everything was 1 washer, super tight. Just can't have that happen again. This is just a phenomenal rod for throwing wake baits that size. I actually, for wake baits, I like the Mod Fast because it's got that backbone and it's a little bit stiffer. It makes it easier to throw these wakes, these kind of like, you know, gill style wakes, but it still has a really nice tip section. I mean, you can see it's got enough tip to make it happen. And the cool thing about the Lowdown Custom, which I think are built on proprietary Phoenix blanks, they feel stiffer than what they actually perform. When you get a fish hooked up to these things, they bend down well into the blank. And I think I've lost maybe 2 fish in my history of fishing all the Lowdown Custom stuff due to something, due to like, you know, the rod being too stiff or the rod blank bend. It just does not happen. These things are fish catchers. So if you come across one of these medium heavies, you got to pick it up. It's an essential stick. All right, let's move on.
I got to throw one in that, behind that dock. Bring us back a little bit, dude, because I can see the drop off. There's got to be a fish in there.
Yes.
Perfect.
I want to dock up.
No one's living in any of these houses, huh? There's someone living in that one? Nah. I think it's a little guy, but I don't know.
Look at that dock. Excellent. Excellent, excellent.
They're little guys here, dude. We gotta get on some freaking... This looks dangerous. Wait. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Good job. That was a cool...
Very nice.
It's a cast. You have to cast perfect here. Do you realize that? That was on the dock.
That was on the dock. Is there beer enough?
Little guy. I might have taken a pic of that.
That was a nice blow up though. Cute.
Sick. They love gills, man. Dude, the wake bait that I ate was bigger than him.
Okay, yeah, so after that shellcracker fish, we moved back into the main lake, or the, main waterway, I guess. This is more like a lock system of canals that has just a couple, open points. Really intricate waterway. And then Rich started hitting with the crankbait again. And check this out, I had to do some surgery. It was painstaking, but we got the fish back in. Awesome.
Oh my God! Welcome.
Yes.
You're the man, dude. You're absolutely smoking these things. They're on this bait.
Perfect cast. That was right there, dude. That was right there. That was perfect.
She inhaled.
2.5, 3?
Oh my God!
2.5. That's skinny.
Definitely.
Oh my God!
But let me just make sure we.
That's silver.
He ate this. The problem is.
Oh boy. It's on his gills.
Just got to be really careful here. Okay.
It's okay. It'll be alright. Dude, you did a great job. Are you kidding me?
Whew.
Nice work.
We got to go hit that thing again. They're all in there, dude.
That was sick. That was a perfect cast.
Where was it? Do you know where it was?
Yeah, right there.
Underneath the
right
thing?
Right underneath, like a foot in. Got that one all the way back there. Monster! Monster, get the f***
You gotta bring him. Can you bring him this way without? Don't just ease him. Just it's okay. Your drag set.
Get in there. Dude, I got it all the way back there, bro. They're back there.
That's another 5.
Yes.
Easy. Rich, that was a great reaction.
Okay, I don't want to brag to these people. Let's go. Dude, holy crap.
They don't even just... Here, grab him.
Wait, get that. Got him. What a beautiful day.
The reaction, Rich? Happen on that catch.
Got it back there, baby.
Okay, awesome. We're going in. You want me to weigh it real quick?
It's probably 4.
I'm say it's 4 too.
Great bite, dude. Dude, I got it all the way back there, man.
Nice shot, man.
Yeah.
Killing it. Woo. So you actually had a visual on him eating
I
it.
got it like back there, and then it came out. It came out. It wasn't immediate. It came out.
You had a visual.
But I got it all the way back there. That's on camera. I said this is a perfect cast. I got it all the way back. That thing got lit.
Dude, I loved your reaction. Was so funny. You just go. The DT6 is the best bait here.
Dude. We have to get it back there. We need small baits. And this thing is like, I don't know, knock on wood, but it comes right out of the trees easily.
It's a square bill.
It's a big bill.
That's that bill.
We need square bills.
Swimjig, same type of deal, man.
I thought that hook was going through my fingers for sure.
Nah. Yeah, maybe. You never know. You really don't. Okay, so on day 2, we hit them a different way. We went the other way. We went under one bridge the first day. We went the other way the second day. And we got into this main area and we saw a giant lay down straight ahead. But this was like a large kind of open waterway or that went into like another canal system to the left and another one to the right. And it was cool because it's like all these points were leading to this one place. And we noticed just from the depth finder that there's a lot of uneven structure. So it was going from like 8 to 2 or, like 4 to 10, something like that. It was tapering off from super shallow to considerably deeper. So whenever you see something like that, I was just like, we got to hit this and hit it good. And I came into day 2 with a totally different game plan. Like I said, in day 1, I was throwing tons of swim baits to no avail, trying everything. Mag draft 10s, triple trout, 10 inches. I already said that. But like everything at the kitchen sink, and I felt like because I was switching baits so much and I couldn't establish a pattern, that I was really losing out on valuable fishing time. So I was like, you know what? I'm coming out of the gate. I'm setting up the frog on my nameless custom 766, and I repaired my reel that night, but unfortunately I put a nut retainer that was already stripped back on a reel, which even though it felt good, you'll see what happens. But I ended up putting the Swimjig on the Expride rig. Again, this is where having one more like conventional rig, maybe like a heavy, would have really come into play for me. So whenever I am exploring and just searching for a bite like that, I have a ton of confidence in a Swimjig. And I was just bombing these things as far as I could and doing this typical, my Swimjig retrievers keep the rod in one position. You don't need to impart a lot of jerks or stops and starts. But what I will do is do a quick reel bump. 1, 2, and you'll see it in the video. 1, 2, 1, 2. Then let it drop all the way. Start the process again. 1, 2. And, you know, right out of the gate, we get bit. And I'm fishing a DIRTYJIGS. This is a standard swim jig, but with a no jack hook. I think Matt Allen actually just put a video out about swim jigs this year, and he talks about the no jack. And I figured, look, I'm in South Carolina, I'm around bigger fish. If I get into a huge one, I want them on that hook, because if you're hooking them on here, and you'll see some of these hook sets, it's hard to get the hook out. And I tried a variety of trailers the day before. I really only used 2 swim jig trailers. I know that Matt Allen uses like 4, but I either go just Kitech if I want something more subtle. I was using a 3.3 and a 3.8. I think right off the bat here I got bit on the, I think it was a 3.3 actually, which should tell you that they were really on a finessey profile, just a lot of fry in the water. And this is a 3.8. Or the Gambler Easy Swimmer, or Big Easy, which is like a 5-inch profile. I think the Easy Swimmer is closer to 4 inches. They did not want that. They did not want like a lot of body kick. They wanted just basically the Kitech, when you fish it, the swim jig stays here and just the tail kicks out wide like this. If you're fishing the Gambler Easy Swimmer, Big Easy, it's more of this type of roll, right? You know, like more action. They just wanted that subtle tail kick, and they were just, you know, that first bite I got on, he lit it up, and it was like a 2.5, probably, maybe somewhere around there. You know, that size fish, but it was such a good eat, and it got my confidence going. So let's check that out.
Go a little deeper in there by the bridge. Chill out here. Bait fish jump.
I saw that too.
Dude, we're fishing 150 yards away from the beach.
That looks pretty real. Nice. You see that?
Yeah.
Where? Throw that crank right at the dock, dude, and bring it back.
I unhooked these things, so I have more room here too.
Perfect.
Okay.
Dude, you're a freaking pro at that.
I'm a good caster. I'm a good caster. That I'm confident about.
That thing looks so sick.
Oh my god! Yeah, great caster.
That was amazing. I mean, dude, there's a legit algae bloom in the entire thing. That, you know how much that brings the water temperature up.
Does it?
Oh yeah, that's why these things are so.
That's how you start a day, cousin. Ah!
Is that a bass?
Is that a sea bass?
The Swimjig, dude. Did I call that or what?
Yes. What a start. And this.
You're right. Look at the teeth on those things.
Yeah. Dude, the net was easy after.
You gotta be freaking kidding me.
That was right in the middle.
I bombed it as far as I could, and I was doing just speed up and slow down.
On a jig.
Dude, look at that. I can't even get this out. Oh boy.
You have your pliers on you?
Okay, so we're on the board. Look at that. Beautiful, probably 1 3/4 pound, right?
Nice hit. I'd give it 2. That's pretty healthy.
That is a beautiful looking fish, man.
That's pretty healthy.
On the board.
Nice hit, dude.
All right, so we're already on the board. The Swimjig is coming into play. Just long casts over a point, bringing it in. This guy came up, was stalking it, and absolutely eviscerated it. Gonna get him back in right now. See, bud? Oh, you see how fast that thing took off?
That was a healthy fish.
Dude, he fought hard, too.
That was nice. I thought that was going to be like 4.
You know what's so funny? That's the reel I just fixed.
Yes.
Dude.
Nothing. Dude, that makes me so happy.
Can you believe that?
That makes me so happy.
Did it hold up? It did. That one washer, taking it off. Same thing.
Try to get us a little closer?
Yeah. Dude, they're all out over this point. How about the Swimjig comes into play?
That makes me so happy.
Dude, I hammered that thing too.
I literally said too, if you found that nut, like, that's some spirit wanting you.
Can you believe that
That's some spirit saying you need this.
Can you believe that I watched in slow-mo and found it?
Yes.
Where it was?
You have the sickness.
Wow.
We're in 4 here.
That was a great idea.
It's heavy enough, that'll fit.
We'll see. He's on there too. Not anymore. Guess that didn't work.
Here, put it. I'll help you. Is he on here?
Yeah.
I got it. Keep on.
Wait, this is gonna be a mess with the braid, dude. Oh, it's a good one too.
Here. My hand! That's a beast!
Not pop. That might be a 5.
Christian!
Dude,
5-5!
Prob.
Bro, by hand.
But that's not good. Where's the nut? The nut's stripped. That nut's stripped. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Oh no. Are we out of battery?
Tell me. Yeah, it's done.
You gotta be kidding me.
No.
Dude, that's...
Bro.
Yo, get that camera. Yeah, we're definitely throwing it back. Largemouth. Absolute stud on the Swimjig. This thing's probably, it's gotta be a 5.
5.
Gotta be a 5, but our scale went. So your guess is as good as mine, but look at that. Absolutely annihilated.
Reeled it in by hand.
Hand lined it because my nut popped off because it's stripped. Really great.
Oh my God!
Awesome. Dude, he was hammered too. Thank God I got a great hook set on him. No, he's really hooked, man.
That thing was so buttoned up.
Excellent, bro.
That's a 5, man.
Excellent. That's a nice gut. There's a little gut there. Gone.
Okay, so you saw that second fish. I set the hook hard, and because that nut retainer from the day before was stripped, even though I had it tightened down, pulled the reel handle right off again. And it created one of the most chaotic moments we had down there, and probably in my entire fishing career. But we had to hand line in like a 5.5 pounder. And then meanwhile, the guy on the bridge is screaming, "Oh, you know, give me the fish to eat. I want to eat them." And I'm like, "Oh my God, dude, that's the last thing I can think about right now." I mean, I'm never giving up a bass for someone to eat unless it's dire straits and they're on their last breath and they need the meal to survive. But you know, it was just a crazy occurrence. And then at that point, I was like, this rig is cursed. We got to get rid of it. And that's where I ended up putting the Swimjig on. Thank God I brought this rod on the Nameless Custom 766. And this is just an absolutely incredible rod. Nameless Customs never disappoints. This thing is a 6 power. It can throw a Citizen 6, which is normally what I use it for. That's what I was throwing the day before, or a Mag Draft 6. And as you can see, I have that Gavacho that I was talking about earlier, the Sun Gill, that's been in my arsenal for 3 years. It throws the frog incredibly well. It has just a wonderful, wonderful tip section. You see that? It got a beautiful, beautiful tip, and it's just so super stout and so light, and you can just jack fish on it. And I'm thankful that I had this in the arsenal because I ended up catching 2 more really nice Swimjig fish on this guy, as you'll see. And man, it was seamless. And then any rod that you can just cut that off, throw a frog on, walk it, you know, without a care in the world, make these long bomber precision casts. You just can't beat that. And I have this with the, this is one of those new JDM Zillions. This is a Zillion TWHD 1000. And this is only for the Japan market. Again, I have the Cedo Composite 102 millimeter handle on there, and it is just a beast. It's so light and so small. Pulls on fish great, casts great. I mean, between this and that Metanium, you just can't go wrong. I just wanted the all black kind of thing because this Nameless has got like the all black thing happening. I love that. I mean, as you can see, I'm decked out in all black. But yeah, thank God for this rod. It got me out of a jam. I mean, how is there not a fish right there? This is the worst drought we've ever had. Appreciate it.
On command.
Can we just catch up fish?
On command.
Nice little 2-pound chunk. Dude, they're the angriest fish. That was the same thing. Just cast it far back.
Why do you awaken me from my slumber?
Oh, that was a giant. That was not the same fish, dude.
It wasn't? Well, that's a good sign.
That was the one that swirled on it was absolutely massive, dude. Dude, just throw it right off the back.
Oh yeah. You guys gonna use that to catch some gator?
That's exactly what we're going for. Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks, man.
Good job.
Is it the same guy that wanted it for dinner? Okay, so we went in to eat dinner, loaded up on a bunch of red meat, and then we went back out on the water, and we figured we'd stick to that first area. We didn't want to push anywhere else because, I don't know, we figured it would just be easier with the sun going down to just make one last push. And of course, Rich gets on an absolutely monster catfish. And let me tell you something, this guy, if anybody should be on Uncle Larry Outdoors, it's this guy. He just an amazing fisherman, so nonchalant, goes out there smoking a big stogie, throwing an old school spinning setup on his knees from under a canopy on the back of the boat and sticking absolute toads the entire time. And man, he hooked into this catfish, and I think we both knew something was not right because it was not fighting the right way. And we brought it in and we're like, oh man, brutal. But man, it was so funny. It was such a perfect way to end day 2. And man, I still have memories of that cat just kind of squirming around. It was getting hooked everywhere. I had to take the hook out or get hooked again. But we got him back in safely, went right back down. And then we got a good night's sleep and we were on to day 3. It was a great toss. Dude, the cigar is too funny, man. You look ridiculous. We gotta get you on Uncle Larry, dude. Dude, they'll put you up in the house, man. You don't even have to do anything.
Oh, got one. Uncle Larry! Oh! Yeah, buddy, go fight.
It's a catfish? It's a catfish, I think. Just let him pull, dude. Yeah. It's a huge catfish. This is Uncle Larry's city, dude. Dude, that is a giant.
Dude, let's give him to the guy. I'll give him the catfish. Are you kidding me?
Dude, that's a giant.
Holy. I'm not touching this thing.
That is a... I was like, yo, I'm putting up a good fight. I don't even know what to do here, dude. Bro. £7. That's a 7 pound. Here, take a picture of that thing.
I did.
You got it?
Yeah.
See, this is a mess, man. Now he's hooked. He was hooked every way possible.
Thank you for doing that.
Okay, so we started where we left off on day 2. We went back to that main point, or that main area that kind of trickled into all these other areas just because of the drop-offs that we saw. And we were just getting action. You know, Rich caught the giant catfish. Got those 2 nice swimjig fish. We were just getting bit. He caught some other smaller DT6 crankbait fish that I didn't even put in the video, but you know, that seemed to be holding fish. And of course, we get there, start throwing the swimjig, and instead of paying attention, I am watching a gator just devour an egret, a dead egret, all the way down. I didn't end up seeing my rod tip or feeling my rod tip load up, because I guess the fish probably ate the swimjig moving right at me. It loads up right by the boat. I don't get a hook set, and I was like, did I snag the ground? And Rich throws right in, gets a fish right on the DT6 right afterwards. And of course, I get too excited and bungle the net job, and I come up, you know, with just hooks. I just had the DT6 in the net, which you'll see in the video. But it was just such a dumb move. And, you know, I guess the important thing I can tell you is just you got to keep your head in the game. Like, I know nature is incredible, and you know, nature is metal. But sometimes you really, the moment that you don't concentrate, these bass seem to exploit you. It's just how fishing works. And as you can see right there, we lost that battle. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about. Everybody should be talking about this. The importance of having a lure retriever on the boat. I mean, this absolutely saved us. This one happens to be made by Frank, Toothy Fisherman Alcorn. And as you can see, that's the Toothy Fisherman lure retriever. And they actually sell these on Tackle Warehouse now. And there's 2 different sizes. This is the bigger size. And there's, I think it's a couple pounds maybe, or maybe it's just right over a pound. Yeah, it's somewhere like that. And then the smaller size I have in my one of my tackle boxes, it's better for bank fishing. I mean, you got to get right over the bait to use this correctly. But the amount of money I've saved with these things is absolutely ridiculous, and this is the best one that I've used. And all I do is attach it to a marker buoy. You know, this is strong line. You got a lot of distance to work with here. Floats, can't go wrong. I mean, as you can see in the video, and you'll see it another time later in the video, saved us, because those are the only 2 baits. Again, we didn't have too much conventional tackle. Like, that DT6 was the only one we had. And I mean, I saved that, or did I save that? Yeah, I saved that once. I don't think I have that one on camera. And this one, I got a swimjig out, and then I saved the other Rapala crankbait that we had from like 1989 on this thing. But again, do not get in a boat without one of these things. Do yourself a favor, especially if you're throwing expensive swim baits. Frank, Toothy Fish Alcorn. Let's move on.
Now we're at 6 right in front of us. So there's a ledge, like right where, this is right where you got bit. And this is where the ledge is.
Exactly in this spot?
Yeah.
Was I closer, or you think it was right here?
We're just in 3, and now we're in 7.
Way more wind today.
That gator going through that
What is that, a dead bird?
highway. He's going right for it. Eat it.
Oh! Rich,
That bird.
are you kidding me right now?
Oh, you had something?
I don't know if I thought I was just hooked on the ground, but that might have been a fish. Oh my God. Oh my God, what am I doing? I'm looking at the freaking gator.
Are you hooked on the ground?
No. Nice one.
That's the same fish, dude. That's the same fish.
Perfect. Perfect. That's probably 4. That was a nice one.
I didn't even see it.
That was a big one. Right at the end of the boat, same fish.
That was the same fish. It went for the swim jig?
We're in 1.9 now. So I went from 8 to 1.9.
That's pathetic, dude. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. It dove. There's a huge cliff right here, bro. Straight down. It dove under the net. I kind of rushed it.
Did you?
I mean, I just brought him over and he dove. What are you gonna do? I'm counting that as a catch. We're off the schneid. That was a quick release.
I think I was on the same fish, dude.
I saw. That was a nice one. That was 4.
He went from mine to yours.
That was a nice one.
That crankbait is cleaning up.
Listen, bro, they're here. We've caught them. So from here, in between us and the bank, it goes from 7 to 2. This is a nice one. Got him. Let's go.
No. Ground. Just go straight and I think I can pull it out.
Got it? That thing's sick, dude. Nice work.
You nice work.
You're the man too, Phil.
Okay, so after hitting that main area and losing that fish like that was kind of bad juju. I said to Rich, I'm like, look, man, it's a little bit different conditions today. Let's make a push toward that shallow area where we're catching them on the frog. Let's try to throw some topwater back there. I mean, we went all the way, we tried everything else going the other way. Let's go back to where we know we caught fish. Who? Who is?
That guy.
Oh, because of the gators?
Yeah.
He missed it. He just straight up missed it. Dude, that was a good blow up too, man.
What was that on?
Frog.
On the board.
So not the one I'm looking for.
Not the one we're looking for, but on the board.
Little frogfish. Dude, he really took that, huh?
Wow.
Went right back. That was not the same fish.
Go get your mama.
Not the same fish. They eat it and they go right down. They are violent fish. Did I hit one in the head? Did you hear that? That's a big one.
That's nice, dude. Yes.
That was you, bro.
Good job. On the froggy? Very nice. That's finally a decent looking fish.
That looks good. Rip it. What's your guess?
3.8.
3.46.
You nailed it at 3.5.
Good guess.
Very cool. I saw that too. I happened to look over.
Was it crazy?
Yeah.
Dude, he took it down, man. Ah! All right, finally get a nice fish on the frog. This thing absolutely walloped it, scared the ever-living bejesus out of me, but we finally got on a few fish. Look at that eat. Awesome. Fishing this on the Nameless Custom and the Daiwa Zillion with Studio Composite handle. Yeah!
That's a beaut.
Right down. There's got to be more holding on that corner, man. Dude, throw the rat. Throw the rat, man. That was freaking. That was a great bite.
That was sick.
The key was throwing it as close to the bank as you could get it, and then walking it out, and then they just come up and smoke it. And that second one was absolutely beautiful. And then we were down by that bridge, and I thought that this point was going to just yield monster fish because the quality of the fish got better. And here's what happens. Look at that. It's literally perfect. Perfect ambush point. Why is this boat coming over here?
They just want to track them.
Out of all the places.
Guys, I'm sorry, but there's nowhere to go, and you just can't.
Dude, what are you doing? What are you doing, dude? Turn around.
You gotta turn around. Got nowhere to go. Hi. God, there's nowhere. There's nowhere to go.
No good, huh?
No.
It's shallow too.
It's blocked off here.
Bro, we're fishing. They were just gonna blow us up. Look, I mean, he did that.
Well, there goes that spot. No good, huh? Gotta put that on a t-shirt because that's one of my favorite quotes of all time. Guy was a nice guy. You would think that someone would have the common sense enough to know that if someone's fishing in a really tight spot like that, that maybe give them a little bit of room. I mean, there's literally nowhere else to go. He didn't. Oh well. We ended up having a good laugh about it. It was ridiculous. And then we ended up making a run to the other extreme side of the lake. There was like a T in that back area. So you had the bridge back here where we were facing no good, huh? And then straight ahead there was even more thick stuff. So we made a run there, and here's what happens. No good, huh?
Truly incredible. He was pissed at me for not moving out of his way.
No good, huh?
Let me just do a quick UE floor it and blow up your entire spot that you gently worked over for an hour.
Dude, this frog is
doing damage here, man. They want it. You see that thing?
Yeah. That's it, man. I mean,
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Had to be a fish. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Had to be a fish. Had to be. Beautiful.
Dude, you got me right there.
Beautiful. Excellent.
Good.
Had to be a fish.
Good healthy
That's a
chunk.
healthy one.
Good healthy chunk. Dude, that was sick.
That was a healthy one.
Rich's captaining skills got us into the far stretches of the unknown. Got on this frogfish in the middle of nowhere. Really awesome bite. Great eat. Going to get a release right now. Yep. Yep. Look, and the
On
fin.
Gill, fin, all over. But that's a normal colored bass.
Yeah. Well, it lives in the too.
true. Maybe we're used to that a little more, yeah.
Yeah.
A little darker.
Exactly.
But bro, that had to have been a fish.
Dude, these birds want to eat this so badly. Is it a bass? Is it a striper? Hybrid striper? Is it a catfish? Yeah. Get out of here. It is. Oh no. Oh no, now it's gonna be, I shouldn't have netted this, dude.
It's what?
I shouldn't have netted it. That was a dumb idea.
That's him?
Yeah. Do you hear this guy clicking around?
Yeah.
Oh, the split ring came off. We'll fix that.
Thank you, sir.
Is that insane?
That's pretty insane.
You know how much money I saved on this thing?
You probably saved like $10,000.
Dude, you have to bring it in a boat, but you can only do it like that. You see how you have to go up and down and kind of play with it until a hook catches the treb? That's a good bass, dude.
Yeah. Ooh, saw the net and got scared.
Good. Just fight him.
Yep. Yes.
Great job. Great job.
major pause.
Hold that. I'll grab some pics.
Got it. Yeah, baby. Thank you.
What happened?
I don't know.
Wait a minute. But I was on the pause, right? Oh, cool. His tail looks good. What is with these things, dude?
AIDS bass. Love you.
Great. Dude, that
a
thing
cool
went right
fight.
back down.
That was a cool fight.
What do you think that was? 3? 2.5?
2. That was a cool fight, though. It didn't even know it was hooked for the first, like, 2 seconds.
So yeah, you know, sometimes you got to throw a perfect cast, or I don't know if that was perfect, but you know what I'm saying, into the junk and really, you know, where sometimes we're a bass where you think a bass should be, they actually are. Got on a good one there. We ended up staying down there for a while. Rich got on another catfish. I'll tell you, that DT6 was the MVP bait. It was catching everything. They just wanted that color, that chartreuse brown. I'll leave a link for it maybe somewhere in the video. But again, that's just a crankbait that you have to have. We stayed down there and he got another nice fish. And then we were just like, you know what? I think we've worked this area enough. We're gonna make one more run to the docks where I got that wooden shellcracker fish. So we pushed over and here's what happened. I'll tell you, this system is so much better today, man. For the past 2 days, I should say. Oh, dude, there was a massive follow. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. That was a monster. That was a monster following the rat. Oh my God. Oh my God. Dude, I cannot wait to show you that on GoPro. That was freaking insane. I don't know. It was just like a crazy shadow just right behind it, dude. You can definitely see better here. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Grab it. Got him on the rat. That's a big one, dude. Get the net, Rich. Get the net. Get the net, dude. It's a giant. Cranking the rat down. Get the net, dude. That's a 7.
Yes!
That's a 7.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's a 7. That's an 8. I told you he was following it, dude.
Finally, do you think that was him?
I told you I wasn't full.
Finally did it. Holy.
Rich, this is a
That's a
definitely.
football, bro. Dude, that thing is heavy.
This is a PB, man. This is a PB. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, get him. Oh my God, that's it right there.
Dude, get that camera. Wait, let me get a weight.
Please be 8.
7.08.
It's 7.08.
Wait, hang on. Just leave that right like that.
Guys, got a new PB on the PB Mouse 3-piece, 7.08. Absolutely smoked it. Cranking the rat down, was following it, and just bam. Gonna get a release. Rich, do me a favor. On the black tackle box, there's a measure. Let me get these hooks out of here. There's a measuring board.
The GoPro thing?
It's in the on the black GoPro bag. You'll see on the side there's a measuring board. Yep. Just open that guy up. Dude, I thought that was bigger, to be honest with you.
Did you?
I thought it was an 8.
Here, give me this. Just throw it back out. You understand you just made the whole trip, right?
$23.
Dude, that's a football. It doesn't even have a big gut, though. It's just huge.
Let's get this beautiful fish back in.
You are a beautiful fish. I love you so much. You have no idea.
Rich, can you actually hold this? Can you hold this so I can get a slow-mo and not drop this thing in? He's too heavy, man. Just focus on him. I'm gonna revive him a little. Just hope a gator doesn't eat me.
Hang on 1 second.
Dude, throw the rat in here and crank it down, bro. There's more.
Dude.
There's more. Dude, that was a dinosaur, man.
We just tried catching that for 2.5 days.
The rat worked.
Dude, I can't believe the rat worked. I really can't believe that.
So we decided to make a push toward that other area where I caught the wooden shellcracker fish with the docks. I just felt that there had to be a bigger fish holding at that point. We found an area that wasn't getting touched by the sun at all. It was a giant shade line, and I started casting. There were 2 shade lines. I casted to the one that was getting a little bit more sun first. That's where I started out, and I started off with the 3-piece PB mouse, which I actually picked up right before the trip because I don't know, the rat bite for me, like the big giant rats do better, I think, in the heat of the summer and the fall, and I figured this is still kind of, spawn, maybe post spawn for these fish. Let me go with a more of a finesse profile on the rat. So I was fishing this on the Zanak Galans, and this is a 703X, and this thing can probably handle up to 3.5 ounces. This is a rod brand that not a lot of people know about, and maybe in the freshwater world they don't, but in the saltwater world they definitely do. It is just a work of art. These things are handmade in Japan. I mean, you pay a pretty penny for them. It's a ferruled handle, so this whole handle section comes off and put it in. This is only a 7-foot rod, and it just is a tank, and it has an amazing tip section and all titanium double foot guides all the way up. Just perfect bend. Like it's stiff, but when you get a fish on, it's like the lowdown custom. Again, it just you know, bends all the way down into the blank. I would say it's kind of like a mod fast. You can throw both jig hook baits and treble hook baits and do really well. And this is just a perfect rod to throw a rat this size. And I have an old school Corrado 300E that I put a Shimano power handle on because I think it gives you better winching power. And yeah, all I can say is it got the job done because I ended up catching my new PB, and which is just a little bit over. It's pretty much the same exact fish as my PB from last year. 7.03 was from last year. This is 7.08. But again, I think this is, yeah, I got 80-pound Max Quattro braid on this one, and I'm throwing to a 25-pound Maxima Ultra Green leader, and that is a double Pitson knot. Such a strong, strong knot, and that's the knot that I've been tying on more than anything else for fluoro and mono knots for heavier baits this year. I used to do a double uni. With 5 wraps, I feel like this double Pitson might actually be a little bit better with 3 wraps. And I've also been utilizing a single San Diego jam for baits under 2 ounces. And there's a specific way to tie that. Again, I'll go into that maybe in another video down the line. But FG knot, super tight wraps. That's the key. You got to make sure this is cinched in. And I got her cranking the rat down. And that's a bite that I have been kind of perfecting over the last year. I'll throw it out over a point and I'll start a very, very slow retrieve. And then I'll kind of like let it dead stick there for a little bit. I don't think I did that as much this time, but I'll just let its presence be known. Then I'll start the slow retrieve again. And then I'll start burning it fast, pause, and then burn fast again. And it's almost like the bait's been had and it's trying to escape. And that's exactly what got this thing bit. And it was an amazing, amazing net job by Rich. I mean, he was on point the entire time. We got her. She actually bent out one of the tines of this front treble. I don't know what trebles they use on this, but light wire hooks, but super sticky sharp, coming stock from PB Rat. And man, that fish was so powerful. It did one head shake once it knew it was caught. I think I stunned it. Probably never been caught before. And then it just went straight down under the boat. Had to really keep pressure, and he got her. Got a new PB. Really made the whole trip for us. It was phenomenal, and I'm just happy that I didn't get eaten by a gator when I went to release it, because I thought that might happen with the horrible water clarity. But yeah, what a moment. Awesome. Just got hit again.
You did?
Just got hit again. It's like they're coming. It's like it was a bump. It was a bump. It's almost like it's very similar to a jerkbait, man. It's like suspending, you know, just sitting there. It's like a jerkbait for giants. Oh, dude, look at that ledge. Dude, get the...
I see the whole thing. I see the whole thing. Watch your butts.
Go!
Got it? Saw that whole thing.
3?
3.
3.5?
3-2. healthy looking fish.
See you, buddy.
That was awesome.
Dude, you go, oh, I noticed that rock. They're back here, Rich. This is the spot, dude. Okay, so after that ratfish, I just had a feeling that there were other big fish back there. And, you know, I felt like they had seen too much of the rat by then. What I hadn't thrown, what I had tons of confidence in, just from the reaction I was getting earlier, was the Shad. So again, I picked this guy up, and Rich kind of drifted us down right by this one boulder, that like this submerged boulder, and I was like, man, I was like, Rich, check out this boulder. I flipped the Shad right to the edge of the cover. Again, do that quick, choppy, kind of almost like a jerkbait motion, and this one, probably like a 3.5 pounder, just came out and lit it up, and it was such an amazing bite because he came so fast and so hard. And man, that was such an amazing way to cap out the trip. We went in to eat dinner again, and we were like, you know what, we're gonna blow out and hit this point on the way back. But the only thing that happened was me getting absolutely lit up by no-see-ums, which are like the most insidious gnats you could ever imagine that live in South Carolina, and my legs are covered in bites. But just to get one on that glide after putting in so much time and, you know, thinking it was going to pay off, it just shows so much promise for the next time we hit this place up. And I think I can do a lot of damage with this bait if I just fish it situationally in the right spots. So yeah, everyone, I know that was a lot of information. I know, you know, it's tough to weed through 30 hours of footage and put it into a 1 hour, or hopefully a 1 hour video. But I hope you guys learned something from this. I mean, if there's anything that I can tell you, it's number one, if you're changing a reel handle out, try to contact the manufacturer and figure out what you need to get the best placement. This is harder to do with Studio Composite or some of these, you know, Japanese companies, because all the directions are in Japanese. But just from my experience, remember, use one washer. If the reel handle is thicker, you got to compensate for that somehow. Use one washer. Carry backup retainer nuts. I'll never make that mistake again. I have them now. Carry backup wrenches. I also have backup wrenches now that'll handle both Daiwa and Shimano. Carry that toothy fish lure retriever. That's the best one. I've used them all. That one's the one that gets the job done. And keep some type of, keep the boat organized. Don't be tripping all over rods. Look at what happened. I mean, thank God I didn't break that rod in half. That Expride you can't even get anymore, and that thing's caught hundreds of fish for me. I absolutely love it. If you like this type of content, remember to like, subscribe, and you know, shoot me a message, shoot me a comment. Let me know what type of content you're looking for. Maybe I'll get around to it someday. You know, obviously, Big Fish Synergy is it's a fusion of big bait technology and selective conventional tactics to yield giant fish. And on this particular trip, I got a new PB, and we caught quality fish. So that's all I can hope for. So thank you so much for coming along for the ride and joining me in my fishing lair here. Remember, one cast, one bite, one big fish. Go out there, stick a giant. You can do it. I believe in you. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.